Quick question. Do charter schools predominantly serve the poor areas in DC, like minorities, students, say disabled like people with special needs? Are a lot of charter schools growing in like poorer areas, or are they mostly in, say, the wealthier areas that that are more aware of school reform and like, demand more choices because the parents there are better educated?
Yeah. Interesting enough, there's been a big debate about that recently. The vast majority are in the poorer, more disadvantaged areas. The word 7, 8, 6. There's been a push to get more over there, but that's where they're clustered. Recently, there have been a couple. Washington Latin is one. It's up 16th Street. There have been a couple approved that are intended to have a more wider variety of people, because a lot of more advantaged people are leaving. And they're like, why should we leave the city? Why shouldn't we have great choices too? So there's a new school called Basis that's opening up in fall that was started in Phoenix and then went to Tucson, and it's actually considered they have the best elementary public school anywhere.
Oh, wow.
And they serve a lot of non-English speaking, non-native English speaking people in Phoenix, but they've got a wide variety. They've got poor and they've got wealthier. So Basis is coming to DC, and there was a big debate before they were authorized, like, well, shouldn't we be focusing on only the neediest? And these parents made the case that we need options too, and don't you want different income levels working together in school together, right? This should be common sense, right? I mean, this is why we raise money in schools like Visitation, so other people can come to Visitation that wouldn't be able to write the check themselves. So if you acknowledge that integrating different economic levels, which apparently is more important than race, because race comes with the economic levels, all the reports say that income is really where the divide is, then you want to combine those. So it's going to be opening somewhere in the Chinatown area. And they're hopeful they will draw everyone from the U Street corridor to Northwest to, Southeast.
Oh, that's great. So charter schools are achieving pretty amazing results with kids in DC from the poor areas. Wow, that's really great.
And overall, I think our latest numbers showed that fully 60% of charter schools across the country have 55% or more disadvantaged, and more than 50% minority.
Wow.
So the mean of advantaged, disadvantaged, and minority is already weighted at charters. And so that's another area that, these are folks who are dropping out regularly in traditional public schools. So this gives them a chance. And the one other thing too, we were talking earlier about the other things that make charter schools effective is, if you ask a parent to choose a school, like now all of a sudden, you're not just going to a school because it's outside your door. Think of the nicest area, think of the worst area. And you go, oh, okay, my child's 5, go to school. You don't have to give any thought to that. You may have given some thought where you move, but most people don't anymore. So now you're in that neighborhood because that's where you live. Now you get a choice. Now you have to actually go shopping. Now you start asking questions and you become a lot more engaged as a parent. So over time we've seen parents who they themselves fully admit that they were not very effective or they were doing, bad things to themselves, become a lot more responsible because their child is in a school of choice. Because they really realized that by their doing that, they gave that child a better education. And that gives them a sense of power and then vests them in it. Whereas if you don't make a choice about something, why would you? It's not a big deal. Someone can give me something. Great, I'm not going to keep giving it to me. Why should I take it seriously? So it's actually creating, we think, more responsible school parenting, if you will.